next year you ride Yamaha, did you get some help from Yamaha, or how did that come together? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember everything, man. I love motocross, but yeah, what were we talking about? Yamaha. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
well, they had the East West shootout that year. So after I got fifth or whatever, fourth, I don't even know what I think I got fifth. Not too sure, but anyway, they had the top 10 from the East, top 10 from the West, and we had
Yeah.
that big shootout at the Coliseum, and that's where Yamaha picked me up. I had Rick Johnson's ex mechanic, Cliff Lett, and I remember going up to Yamaha, seeing my bike up on the stand in there. I mean, like I reached my goal. I mean, that's all I ever wanted. That was my first factory ride. Well, for a second, I mean, it wasn't full factory, but my bike was at Yamaha. Cliff Lett was working on it, and he brought it in a box van. So that's a factory ride as far as I was
Yeah, that
concerned.
works.
Yeah. So and then he was my mechanic. I got fourth, I think, that night. But that bike was just garbage. That's such a garbage bike. But I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know how they were that bad. They would bog off every jump, and like Ron Hebens out there putting little sponge things around the main jet, and like Keith Bowen's trying to fix it, and like nobody could get that bike to work. I ended up, yeah, that bike sucked. I hated that bike, but I was stoked on the ride. So,
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good as the Cowie, and then the next year you go to Honda, which is awesome, right? Like the Hondas are so much better back then.
yeah, Honda was just night and day better. They still are, in my opinion, but I mean, Yamaha's close. I don't know. They're all getting closer, but yeah, that bike was in '87. I rode 125 Supercross, and then I rode 250, 500 outdoor. So I rode all three bikes that year, and they were all awesome, all great bikes. And then they hired me to do some evaluation testing for them. That's how it all started in '87, and I worked with Honda all the way till 2007, I think.
Yeah, dude, you got sixth at Kenworth. He's on a 500.
Yeah.
In '87.
I didn't even know that. I was looking at the results the other night. I'm like, oh, I don't remember this shit. A bunch of stuff. Like I saw a couple photos I'd never seen. Those photos you sent me this morning, I never saw those before. Those are bitching, and it's just like, I love it, dude. I love everything about it. I wouldn't change anything if I could. I'm
Around
happy.
this time, you start going to Europe a lot, huh? How does that happen? Who gets you to Europe, and how many times, do you head over there? Because I remember, again, as a kid, just reading the cycle news, it seemed like you were racing all over Europe a lot.
Yeah, well, you had to go to Europe. I mean, there's really no money in the sport back in the day. I mean, I don't even know what the AMA pays anymore, but I looked a couple of years ago and they were still getting $1,000 to make a main event. I mean, it's like kind of a joke, but anyway, yeah, if you're in the top 20 in America in Supercross and all the countries around the world during our off season from September to January is when you just head on overseas and freaking play as many races as you can. Get yourself a manager. I had the same manager. It's like Rich Taylor and Mike Johns, and the three of us we were like the three amigos. We went everywhere together. Had so much fun, dude. Like it was, I can't even remember all the fun, but we had a great time. But yeah, that's where all the money is, but in Europe, they do it different though. They have a big raging party the night before the race, and so now you're all hungover and tired, and you got to race the next day. But they pay you whether you win or you lose. So, but of course, you got to do halfway decent if you want to come back the next year. But anyway, it's kind of a weird deal though. I didn't like how they did the parties before the race because I like to party.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a trouble. That's a problem for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I understand too, like around this time, your buddy's a dogger a little bit, Ron Machine?
Yeah, I just wrote to Ronnie the other day. I saw him on Facebook and I go, "What's up, Dogger?" And then he freaking, "What's up, dude?" And I haven't gotten back to him. I don't know oh no, I wrote, "Fuck, I miss everybody. Let's go racing," And then but I haven't seen what he wrote to that. But yeah, Dogger and I were freaking. Ronnie's he is a great guy, man. That guy, he's all about having a good time, but he's just Ronnie, dude. The smoothest guy ever.
When Ronnie was burning the candle on both ends?
Oh yeah, of course. I was burning it with him. Not much as you'd think, but we didn't hang out that much. But I got a great story about Ronnie coming back from when we had the big earthquakes out here. That one year, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little later. I'm not sure what year it was. But yeah, the big ones where the freeway broke off up there, and the guy.
Oh, I think it was '94.
Yeah, that year. Yeah, we flew over to. Well, I have good friends in New Jersey, and like my grandmother would make these truck driver sandwiches. It's Taylor ham and egg and cheese, and she lives in my grandparents had a big house on the sand right there in New Jersey. So anyway, my friends was I'd fly to Europe, and then I would stop at Kennedy, the JFK, and my friend would like go all the way down, pick up my sandwich from my grandmother, bring it up, meet me on my layover. And so it was awesome, you know. And of course, we'd go maybe have a beer or something and drive around the parking lot and get back on the plane and go to Europe. So I'm with Ronnie. Ronnie was doing the same race in Germany that I was doing, and I flew out of San Diego for some reason that weekend. Ronnie was on that flight, and so we ended up going over there, and then he came with me. You know, we did the little trip around the parking lot and flew over there, and then fucking at night they're having a big party, and like Ronnie's just freaking. Ronnie can fucking, I don't know how the guy does it, but anyway, he's pretty lit. He's pretty lit, and he's out on like the 12th floor of our hotel room or his room or somebody's room, and he's walking on this little railing, and it's like 2 in the morning, and Ronnie, it's freezing cold, like raining. Ronnie's out walking around the thing barefoot, you know, just like not even caring. Like I wouldn't even like look over the railing, you know. But and then the next morning I'm all hungover and I'm like trying to wake up, and Ronnie's down there. I go down to the stadium and freaking I just hear these bikes and my ears are ringing, my head's throbbing, and there's Lachine just freaking hitting the triple, the biggest ruts, and fucking just having a great time. I'm like, how the fuck's the guy do it? So then, I had to open up my mind a little bit and learn how to ride hungover from there, and it ended up working.
There's so many stories of Ronnie, quote unquote, oversleeping and then winning the main event that night.
Yeah, it surprised me. He ended up winning the whole. I think it was him. It might have been Keogh. I don't know. They won the car. They had this big car above the, hanging there. Yeah, it was Dortmund. You're right. The big golf ball. I think it was inside. Is that the golf ball stadium? Yeah, it was so much fun. And then I went over there one time with like Larry Ward, and like they all of a sudden they're like, come on, we're going to the store. And the guys that picked us up at the airport, everyone, we got these rubber boots, these rubber suits, these helmets with headlights, and they're like, all right, we got a trip planned for you guys. And we're like, got these brand new work boots. I'm like, what the hell are we doing? And we go up to, they pull out to this like big mountain. There's just a rock mountain. There's no trees on it or nothing. And all of a sudden, they walk up this little thing, and there's a hole, and like all of a sudden we gotta like put our feet in first and slide into this cave, and they took us through these caverns, and it was just gnarly. It was totally gnarly. It was awesome though. It was like fluorescent green and yellow and like just beautiful in there. And but you had to jump in at the end in the water, totally submerge yourself and pop up the other end. And mind you, it's freaking butt cold over there. It was the middle of winter, but yeah, I did that one. I think Kyle Lewis might have been with us. Larry Ward. I remember jumping in. I didn't want to jump in, but oh well. It was fun though. We did that too.
Did you have a favorite European race to go to?
I don't know. That was probably one of them. That and a couple of Italy was good. But I did this race in Greece once. I was the only American there for some reason, and there was like 200,000 people at this freaking Coliseum, or whatever the heck it was called. I don't know if it's the Olympic Stadium. I tried to look it up the other day, but I don't even know. I was so much into making money that I took all my money home. I didn't enjoy anything while I was there. I wish I could do it all over again, because I've been to some wonderful places. But anyway, I went to Greece, and and I won the race. There was like 200,000 people there. I won both nights, and like I'm sitting there like, celebrating all by myself. I think Dean Matson might have showed up there like as a privateer or something.
Matson was living over there at that point.
Yeah, he was living there. He showed up, and I had like this bitchin' room, because I don't know, they treated me well over there. But oh no, he wasn't at that race. He was at this other race that I did in Monte Carlo. I'm sorry, getting them all fixed up. That was a good race too. But I would say that race, I went to Monte Carlo. I was at I had dinner with like the king or whatever the heck he was, or I don't know, the main guy over there, whatever he was. But yeah, we had a good time there. And they had a little supercross track down on the airport. And I remember I went there, and they put me up in this bitchin' room with all these like gold silverware. I ordered room service, and they brought me like, I probably only had spaghetti or something lame like that, but well, actually not lame, but anyway, it was really good. And they had like these big silver platters and gold and silver. Everything was just awesome. And then here comes Dean knocking at my door, and he was a privateer over there, driving himself around. He's all dirty, and I'm like, fucking, what's up, Dean? And he jumps in my shower, and we ended up going out to dinner with that guy, and like, it was fun. We had a good time, and but yeah, I used to love Europe. Back to that race in Greece, though, that was my highlight, though. Whenever I think of Europe, it's those two races. Yeah. But yeah, I ended up winning in front of like 200,000 people, and it was just wonderful. It was like an old Coliseum with all Gothic looking and shit. But when I flew in there, I was all by myself, and like the first time I like one of my first races to Europe actually. Like I flew in and like nothing to do, and then so I go back to my room, I change, and I come down and there's like all these chicks and they're doing a Victoria's Secret model shoot. And I'm like all by myself, you know, what the hell? I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna kick it right here. And I sat there all day and watched these chicks do this photo shoot and ended up having a great time. And so then I had these big trophies that were like huge freaking marble and big trophies. They're like 4 feet high and they were heavy. I had to take those on the airplane and the stewardesses were all stoked and like it was a good time, dude. But I don't know. I don't have them. I don't know what happened to them, but my mom might have them. I'm not too sure where they went, but
so at this point you're doing all supercrosses, all the nationals. You're going to Europe a ton. Like you're probably racing 45 times a year, huh?
Yeah, at least. I raced every weekend. I would do Golden States. I would do freaking Trans Cows. I never took a weekend off, really. You can't, because then you get sidetracked. I probably took like maybe a month off a year, and that'd be about it. And that'd be right at Christmas and New Year's,
Yeah. We were making pretty good money back then, because you're doing the whole series, like you said. Back then, the money is not great. There's contingency, there's things like that. But I mean, basically, are you killing it, or are you just getting by?
Well, things are a lot different. I was just I wasn't killing it by any means, but I mean, I made all the right decisions. I saved up money and I went to Canada, won the championship. And because I rented a house, I rented with my wife from high school, Julie. We ended up getting married and I rented and it was like $1,200 a month. And then all of a sudden, like, I blew my knee out and all of a sudden all my savings went in like 3 months. I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I'm like, I'm not going to rent anymore. I'm going to buy a house. So I ended up moving back to my dad's and I went to Canada. I won the championship, saved up 10 grand and I bought a house. And then that's how it all started rolling. I went through like 5 houses and things were all great. But there was no money in the sport though, really. I mean, things didn't cost nearly as much either. But, like a brand new bike was 3 grand. Now you're looking at 20 grand or whatever, 15 grand. But it's, it's just weird how much different it is in the payout. But Europe paid. They didn't pay a lot, but I would go over there and get like 3 to 5 grand every race, and I could probably get like 2 or 3 races every time I went over. And I went over like 6 times a year, 10 times a year, whatever. Not that much money, but like I said, then Honda would hire you to test, and it's just
One of the things I remember about you was you in a magazine you had Allo Up. What was that deal? How much did it pay? How'd you get Allo Up and all of that?
I saw Ricky Johnson. He showed up. That was when he was doing Life's the Beach, wearing his he was wearing his shorts over his pants. Remember? And then all of a sudden he had Allo Up going one day at Carlsbad. He was doing the Golden State or something. I was like, yeah, cool, And then I don't know what happened. I had a friend, Jason McCormick. Maybe he used to work for Spy with Jeremy McGrath. And I think he used to go to high school with me, And then I asked him about it, and then I think he got me in contact with this guy. I think his name was Benson, and he or something like that. And he owned these aloe fields back in Texas. And I called that guy the owner. He ended up owning the whole place. So I thought I was, whatever. He sent me a bunch of stickers, and then it turned into he made me some pictures to sign at the races. They were black and white, but shit, he sent me like a couple thousand of these things. So I mean, I don't even know where they are now, but yeah, it kind of worked out like that. He didn't pay much money. I got like, every race I made the main event, he'd send me like $100 or something like that. But
it really wasn't it wasn't a huge deal.
Well, no, but in the beginning though, like he would. Like they painted, he painted the Allo Up on my van, and then that's when he came in with gas. I forgot, he gave me gas money and all that after that. So I guess you could say that's like paying you, because I was a privateer. I pretty much paid my way to the races, but I had FMF and Allo Up. They took care of all the expenses on the truck and, getting us there and stuff like that.
Deal.
Yeah, it was a good deal. But there wasn't much. It wasn't like I had to sign it. I'd signed for 100 grand or 50 grand. It was probably like a $20,000 deal, but it is what it is.
Definitely pretty cool to see back then. It was like some, like surf, right? Glassy bringing in surf and outside the industry sponsor. When you were a Suzuki guy, you were national number 21, I think. Was that your lowest?
Yeah, that was my lowest. Yeah, I think it was Mike Fisher or one of these guys, Mike Fisher, I think it was, or Johnny O. One of them didn't take number 13, so I would have been number 20, but I ended up at 21. Yeah, I was kind of bummed, but I like 21. But yeah, it was crazy times, dude. I was going to say something about what we were talking about, but now I forgot.
Allo Up?
something to follow up. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it's just. What
How much
the
help
people
how
make
much help
now?
were you getting from how much help were you getting from Suzuki back then as far as bikes and parts and all that? Because again, like you were a main event guy, you were getting some top tens, you were always getting points. Were you getting a lot of help from Suzuki?